what is the least amount of exercises that you can do to build an athlete? Somebody that is well-rounded, functional. What exercises can offer you strength, but also put you into end ranges of motion and develop strength and capacity in those movement patterns and extremely disadvantaged positions, and really leave no body part untouched. I've kind of been thinking about this through my workout tonight, and the complete system is kind of what I've come up with. This is going to be off the top of my head. I haven't really sat down and thought too much about this. I don't have a list or anything, but here we go. The first thing that I will say is ATG squats. I believe narrow and wide stance are both very important. You could call me a high bar, narrow stance supremacist. I really do prefer the aesthetics of a high bar, narrow stance squat. But if you follow Yvonne Durick, you know that he's been playing around with variation, wide stance stuff. I think like 2 weeks ago he mentioned some horse stance or horse squats, maybe that's what it was. Super wide stance, just about nearly as wide as you can go. And then you drop down to maybe a parallel position and hold that for 30 seconds to a minute or whatever. Obviously the ATG position is needed because that's going to place you in maximum ranges of motion. But if you only train the narrow stance ATG side of it, you're really going to be exposed when you move over to anything sumo oriented. And really, I kind of feel like Yvonne's journey here in the past month maybe is sort of a testament to that. He just hit a front squat PR today. I don't know, the human body is very complicated, and you are not going to address everything that needs to be addressed just by squatting narrow ATG. There's certain muscles not being activated in ways that they should. But anyways, we have the squat, preferably ATG, narrow and wide stance. We have the deadlift, the good morning. Upper body wise, I believe pull-ups are very important. Overhead press, which is what I'm doing here. I'm going to try to go into all these as the video goes on. Overhead press, maybe push-ups or bench. Maybe some shoulder stability work after that. But as far as movements, you have the pull-ups, overhead press, squats, and deadlifts, and good mornings. That's essentially all I could come up with. But deadlifts are a very good strength building exercise, great for the lower back, erectors, hamstrings, all of that jazz, the posterior chain, which is very, very beneficial to be able to pick heavy things up, to be able to lean over. That's part of everyday life. But however, I do think they need to be supported with good mornings, because hamstring or deadlifts don't really place enough stretch on the hamstrings. I think the good morning is just about as disadvantaged of a position that you can place yourself in with a barbell in terms of strengthening your posterior chain. When the hamstring and glutes are maximally stretched, that is when the load is going to be heaviest in the good morning. So obviously that's going to be very important for developing a longer range of motion. It's sort of an active stretch. But there it is for the lower body. Deadlifts, good mornings, squats. Moving over to pull-ups. I think pull-ups are a heck of an upper back exercise. It works the entire shoulder girdle, a lot of the supporting muscles and everything. The the traps, lats, biceps, I mean, you name it, the pull-ups are pretty well going to hit everything upper back wise. Aside from that, you have push-ups and bench. You can probably put in more volume in push-ups, and in terms of stability, I would say that dumbbell bench is probably more beneficial than a barbell bench. But with that being said, you can probably develop a lot more strength with a barbell. It kind of depends on where your goals are oriented. And then cardio-wise, I think everybody needs to run. If you can't run a mile or two, you're not in very good shape. I don't care how lean you are and how much weight you can put up. If you cannot run a mile, you're not in very good shape. You're pretty poor health probably. So I think you need to have some sort of cardio implemented, and everybody needs to know how to run. A lot of people don't know how to run. They heel strike, develop a lot of knee problems from that and back problems. Run barefoot, man. Run barefoot. That'll pretty well straighten you out. Just take it easy. Start off slow. But back to the, weight side of things and overall health, you may need to throw in some shoulder mobility exercises like loo raises. Maybe for some elbow flare-ups, try to do some grip work and maybe some bicep curls. But really that's, I think all about anybody would ever need. Obviously, you need quite a bit of volume. In Yvonne's video today over the front squat PR, he mentioned that if he came in here and worked up to a daily heavy double, single, or triple, and did some back offsets, he'd probably develop some hip pain, and his lifting numbers would be very, very stagnant. He wouldn't see much progress, and what gives him credibility on that is that's what he's been doing for a long time, and now he's starting to throw in some variation, and he's seeing results from that. He's hitting PRs. He's feeling better. The hips, he said the hips are feeling smoother and everything, and he's feeling stronger in the wide stance, which I can say for myself. Hitting some wide stance squats has really helped me feel better in the hips and everything, just more mobility as a whole. But anyways, I'm about to wrap it up here. But I do think you need to have volume. Volume is very important. I find that the more reps I do, the better I feel. Reps mean blood flow, and you really don't get a lot of blood flow to the tendons and ligaments, the supporting structures mainly, because these don't really receive a lot of blood flow. So when you're coming in and only hitting heavy triples and such with very, very minimal volume, really only your muscles are getting any blood, which means your muscles will sort of develop stronger than what your tendons can handle. And long term, that's not good. But I'll run over it one more time. For a healthy, functional athlete looking for longevity, I believe that you need to have some sort of cardio background. You need to squat, ATG, narrow and wide stance. You need to deadlift. You need to hit good mornings. You need to have, the ability to do pull-ups. You need to do a lot of pull-ups. And you need to do some sort of pushing upper body work. Overhead press, which is probably best for your shoulders, but you need to overhead press, bench, do push-ups, something like that. Anyways, y'all have a good one. I'll catch you tomorrow.